Hello everyone, welcome to a new sinking ships tutorial. Well, today we're going to be discussing how I make my ships split in half. See, the model I'm using is doesn't look too good because it's the one I'm using from my last video where I sank this model. Actually, you should check that out. It's a pretty good video. And you can see in that video actually that this model of the Titanic splits in half. And you may be wondering, how does that happen? Well, it's very simple actually. So we'll get into that. After I, make each section, at the bottom, I put a piece of tape, sort of act as the double bottom to connect the two parts together, sort of like so. And after I connect the two holes together using the double bottom, you can kind of see in there, I connect these two pieces of cardboard together with a small piece of tape here on each side. You can kind of see it there. The point of this is so as the ship starts to list, right, you want it to be just enough so that the tension will make the tape snap and, make the ship snap in half. As you can see here from my last ship, you can see where it started to break and finally gave out, which is why it gave such a nice splitting in half. You can see it on this side as well. It just snapped up here, kept this part dangling, and then all of it was held together by the double bottom right here, which gave it that nice sinking effect. Just so you guys get a better idea on how I actually do this, I'll give you a demonstration with this old model I used in my last video. I used some white tape so you could see it better, and as you can see there, I put a small cut where the line is to give it, a better chance of actually snapping. And also at the bottom, double bottom, is all taped up, so it should be ready to go. Alright, it may be a bit hard with one hand, but we'll see how it goes. You see the cuts are there. Take a note on how the ship lists and what angle it starts to rip when you're testing it out. Gives you a better idea on how it's actually going to happen. So we start listing.
See a bit of snappers there.
And that is how I do it. You can see there's a clean break there. Double bottom still hanging on, but it's a bit ripped. Same on the other side. And that is an ideal situation. Keep in mind, when the boat is in the water, it can elect differently, especially since how long that piece of tape is going to be under tension is going to vary depending on how fast your ship is going down. This brings me to another point of how I split my ships in half. You can see here there's a lot of tape here.
I taped up a hole in the bottom of the ship,
Where I put some of the rocks in, which I use as weights to actually make sure the ship sinks. And here, you can kind of see it. There's a rock there. I would recommend using heavy rocks because as your ship goes down, the more tension this piece of tape is under, the more likely it is to snap as the list gets more steeper. So using heavier rocks will make it sink quicker, so this piece of tape is under less tension and it can snap a lot more cleanly. I've got some footage from when I was experimenting with my 8-foot Titanic and how that was split in half. So I recommend you check that video out. All these videos I'm recommending will be linked in the description. So I highly recommend you check those out for some tips on how it can, split in half. So yeah, here you go. Really, that's about it when it comes to how to split my cardboard ships in half. It's it's all about practice, trial and error. You gotta sort of find the perfect spot for the tape, the perfect amount of tape to use, which I would normally recommend one bit of tape depending on the size. And yeah, you can kind of see in there's some compartments, a little space in there, same thing on this side as well. Yeah. My next cardboard tutorial will be about how I actually make these cardboard models and how I add little details and how I get it to look how they look. It's actually quite simple, so stay tuned, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.